weird moments of my life that will shock everybody who reads these. A teen dude keeps staring at me in public market for few seconds without looking away, makes me self-conscious and awkward. A weird stare from the girl in the vehicle. Two girls staring at the cashier. A teen guy keeps staring at me outside the mall, near the baggage counter. While I'm standing on the line waiting for my baggage to be claimed, I looked in my left side, and I was really surprised when I saw this guy keeps staring at me, and the rest of other people. I was really embarrassed, and self-conscious, if there was something awkward in my appearance. But what I know is that, this guy who kept looking at me, seemed like he was impressed by looking at me, and I can sense it from his facial expression. I only hope it was a compliment, and not a criticism. A boy in the vehicle keeps staring while riding home. A weird stare from a sales staff girl in the market, while everyone is busy buying school materials. Obvious weird laughing from a group of gays and girl students inside the vehicle, while I'm riding home. Seems like they are criticizing my physical beauty, or whatsoever inside me, that made them very awkward to a point that made them looked. It was very embarrassing moment for me. A group of high school guys riding a vehicle, seem like trying to impress someone. I don't know if they are just attracted to someone inside the vehicle. While trying to make some jokes to their friends, seemed like they are glancing quickly to his direction, and looked away directly. They got almost included a person to their jokes, because they are very noisy, and touchy. One time when his friend touched another friend on his back, pretending to be innocent, in order his friend to accuse a stranger, to be responsible for the touch. While others are looking at his friend on the front seat, at the same time glancing quickly to the stranger. Did they find that stranger attractive? And another friend from back seat, transferred a seat to the front seat. I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they are trying to catch attention from surrounding. Two motorcycle drivers keep staring at a guy on the street, while he is approaching towards them to look for a vacant motorcycle to ride on. Weird kind of stare, more than 3 seconds I think. They just keep on staring on his face. Seemed like they are being surprised by looking at him, or something like that. A girl stares at a guy approaching towards her in the shop, while she is holding her phone. Kind of strange stare, like she was being surprised, or shocked while looking at a stranger guy. Think like she was not in her concentration, the first time she saw the guy, and stood beside her. Just a very awkward moment it was. An introvert guy in the market took a glance twice at the stranger, while he was walking on the sidewalk. I noticed it, because there was no other person around the stranger. Only a guard aged 35 plus and an old woman stood next besides him. Honestly, these two persons are not really unique, or attractive enough for people to stare, so I'm pretty sure the gay guy was glancing twice directly at him, and really catched his attention. A guy was walking in the market, and there was another guy kept looking at him, as he was approaching. When he was near, the other guy still staring at him without looking away. Just very awkward, because he just kept on looking directly at his eyes, like he was thinking something. I was crossing the street to go the other side of the road, and there was this man just kept on staring at me, while I'm walking nearer to him. He kept looking while he was starting on his motorcycle. Seemed like he stared for at least more than 3 seconds. Just very weird. An old man keeps looking at me, while I'm buying a banana. I can sense him through my peripheral vision, and when I turned my head, he was totally looking at me. What's wrong with him? All I know is that I don't have boogie on my face. A small child kept looking at me, while I'm riding a vehicle. I don't know, maybe he just find me unusual, I guess. Weird moment when I was in the mall, taking the escalator going down, there was this group of teenagers too on the opposite side of the escalator going up. They were making laughs at their surroundings, and suddenly one of them noticed me, stared, and so the rest also followed the stare. I'm just wondering why the hell they look at me, when there was more interesting to notice than me. What's the reason for me being stared by them? I went to the street waiting for a vehicle, to send my nephew to school, and something weird happened, because male students suddenly keep on looking at me. I don't know the reason, but I believe they just looking at my face obviously, cause I can see it through my peripheral vision, and I'm sure they keep on turning their heads just to look at me. The two male students beside me keep on staring. And the other student far from me just turned his head to look. But there is no wrong with me, I am sure. When I was in a store near the cashier's counter, I never know that there was a guy keep looking at me. As I was going out, he really turned his head just to look at me, maintaining eye contact. I was really curious when I saw him staring at me. A kid seemed like helpful to me, and treated me very nice, when I was inside a business establishment, and I accidentally dropped my paper, and surprisingly he picked it up for me. I really wondered why he did it despite being busy having a phone call. Today, I was on the street carrying my stuff. I crossed the road on the other side, because the motorcycle was waiting for me. As I ride on the back of the driver, a guy standing beside the motorcycle stared at me. I look at him once, and it made me to look him again, because he was really keep staring at me. I saw his eyes wide opened, while looking at me. What was wrong with him? I was on the store that moment, and decided to leave my stuff to the store's owner, keeping just for a while. As I walked out from the store, a guy suddenly asked me a question that made me stop from walking. It made me confused what he was trying to ask. The fact was, I never knew and never meet that guy, ever in my life, so why would the hell he would ask me such a question? We are just strangers to each other. Maybe he just mistaken me to be one of his friend. I was really curious what he was thinking. I was walking alone crossing the bridge highway, and I sensed that the guy was staring at me, while I was getting near to him. I'm sure he was staring right at me, because there was no other walking with me. His other comrade also followed the stare, as I was walked past them. They still maintained their stare, even though I was already far from them. I hope it was a compliment. I was fetching water from the well, and there was a teen guy who arrived. At first, he asked something about the well, then when there was a vendor of street food came too. He bought 2 pieces of it, and shared it to me. One for him and one for me. I was curious why he did those things, beside we don't know each other well. I was confused what he was thinking that time, and I noticed he was very much friendly towards me. December 31, 2016. When I was riding a motorcycle, and waiting for our turn to go, my eyes wandered around, and unexpectedly caught a teen dude staring at me. As I caught him looking, he quickly looked away. As I understand it, I believed he really stared at me for a few seconds, and I only hoped it was a compliment. One moment, when I walked past a group of strangers, I noticed that guys are looking at me, as I was getting nearer. I don't know the reason, but they keep looking, even I already walked past them. I took a glance at my back, and they're again still staring at me. What was wrong with me? I think I made them turn their heads, for unknown reason. They did not even bother to look away, as I caught them staring. Hope it was compliment. Now, for more true story of my life, please click the like button, share, and subscribe to my channel.